Hello, world. Welcome to the Hinted Neuron podcast. I'm so excited about this episode. This is my final episode for the year. It's my AMA episode, and I've been looking forward to this one. And a bunch of people asked me questions when I put up a form. I said people should ask me questions or tell me things that they want me to comment on. So I got questions and I did my best to answer them in the best way I can. I hosted the show with Tobore. Tobore is an amazing person. She's a friend, and I am glad that we got to host the episode together. It's something I find really great. So not much for me right now. I just wanted to appreciate everyone who has been listening, who has been supporting. I saw some people Spotify Wrapped, and I saw that Hinted Neuron was among your top 5 episodes, your top 5 podcasts for the year, and that was really special to me. That people care enough to listen to what I have to say is something that gladdens my heart, because I mean people care, people actually care to listen to what I have to say on this podcast, and it's something that gives me joy. I I wanted to share a quote by Bell Hooks before I start the episode. Bell Hooks died recently, and she's someone I deeply admire, deeply praise. She writes a lot about feminism, love, and patriarchy. And I just loved her. She has her own ways, and I felt like she was the truth. May her soul rest in peace. So there's something she said which I wanted to share. Knowing how to be solitary is central to the art of loving. When we can be alone, we can be with others without using them as a means of escape. It's by Bell Hooks. I pray she rest in peace. And now here's my AMA episode that I hosted with Tuberi. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Hinted Neuron podcast. Although this is not your regular Hinted Neuron podcast, this is an AMA episode, and I'm here with my friend Tuberi. We'll be doing it together. I asked that people should send me questions or things that they want me to comment on, and I got a bunch of questions, and that's what we are going to be talking about on the show today. We'll talk about those things, comment on it, and hopefully I do that to your satisfaction. So, Tobere, how are you doing today?
Hi, Kelvin. Thank you for having me back. This is like the second time. Yeah, have I been on your podcast before? You've been on mine?
Yes. That was last year. It's like by this time last year, yeah, December. It was also the end of a year to like this, 2020.
Wow. Yeah. And to think that we'll be talking and we're talking to the Christmas, it's really fun. Like we're just helpless,
We've been friends for 1 year now, or more than, I guess, like 1 year now.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Very, very funny interesting.
Did you know how I look like though?
I've seen your, I know you have a lot of beards. Yeah. I've seen your face. Yeah, you look very cute, by the way. Yeah.
I actually don't know how you look like, to be honest.
You've never even asked though. Wow.
Although I have like a mental model of how you would look like. When you talk to somebody, and just by the way they talk or how their voice is, you start to build like a face for them inside your head.
Okay, let me hear it, and I want to listen to you feel miserably. So tell me.
So this is how your face is like to me. I feel like you are maybe like not very dark skinned, but a little dark skinned. Just like like probably light skin, but not very light. And you kind of like have oval face. That's my guess. Oval face. That egg-like face. And probably you probably have a lot of hair too. And, so you don't have a pointed nose, maybe like a flat one. This is top of my head. I'm just like based off of face.
Okay.
Let me stop, Jay. Before I
am not going to confirm or deny anything, but you tried. Like, I think you sort of got my skin color. I don't have an oval face. I think but you know what? I'm going to send you probably like a video of my face or something, maybe after this episode. Yeah. But Kelvin, I've been amazing. I hope you've been okay yourself.
I'm doing great. It's been a wild year. I've not really had some of the best times in some parts of the year, but like right now, in the last 2 months, I feel so great. I feel amazing, man.
Yeah,
I'm doing really fine.
I'm happy about that for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Thank
tell
you
me
very much.
something. What made you choose me for this? Like, I feel, very special, but I want to hear you say what happened. Why me?
So the last when I was doing it last year, I was doing it with my friend Ajuma. She's my friend since I was in junior secondary school. So I just do it with people like people who know me. I like so and it's not as if they probably know me, but I just feel like people I connect with. So and then I just like want to have a good time too, since it's the last episode of the year, and I feel like I can have a good time while talking to Tobore. So why not? She's the perfect person for
I
this
am
year's
very,
own.
very honored, Kelvin. Thank you very much. That's
Yeah,
very
sure,
lovely.
definitely.
Yeah, a bunch of questions here, like very interesting ones. Like I'm so excited, like to unpack them. Like you have like amazing listeners. To be honest, like these questions, like they were really thought out. Like it's actually
Yeah,
very lovely. So,
I wish they would be as amazing to sponsor my show too.
of course. Yeah, but it's like they know you. Like some of the questions were like very sort of in a way like they were sort of looking for something out of you, and I could see they really listen. So just people that just stop by once in a while. I think they're like really invested in your podcast. So you
That's
have amazing
amazing.
fans. That's yeah. So yeah. So should we like talk about the first one or?
Yeah, sure. We could probably start going from the top until we reach the bottom. Might not be able to
All
finish, but
right,
I don't
cool.
know. We should definitely, I
I
guess.
mean, yeah, I'm going to be here because I want to really talk about all of these things.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So you asked people to send you a bunch of questions, and they did, and I'm just like really excited. So the first one, I wish I knew the person that sends this one, but it's really lovely. So the person goes, you hammer on societal problems a lot, but you never speak about how we can solve them. Where do you think we can start from? So that's a question to you, Corinne, from your first. Yep.
Question of where I think I can start solving societal problems. Yeah. So I hammer on societal problem a lot, which is like not secret. I mean, everybody who listens to this show knows that I talk about all this stuff happening in society and all those things. So uh,
They're accusing you of not like suggesting how they can actually solve those things. So apparently you talk
yeah.
about them, but you don't provide solutions. So they're saying, how can you now, talk about solving them?
Yeah. The thing about solving problems is that, I talk about certain things, but even though I don't provide solutions, I actually probably try to chip in where we can start from, because I don't believe that I can have the solution to society's problem. But at least to my own understanding, I'm just like in my 20s. Yeah. So I could be very wrong about a lot of things. So if you are looking for somebody who would give you the solution to society's problems, probably not me, but I can give an hint to, okay, this is where we could start from. So I just feel like one of the ways we could start addressing society's problem is something that I've learned from bell hooks. Because if you look at society, some of deepest things that we face in society is rooted on like hate and contempt towards each other. Like we are not able to rise above our animalistic tendencies. So, so if we start to cultivate love in our hearts, could really go a long way, like love and kindness. This is Bell Hook's idea, not my own idea, but it's something that I dig very well. Because if you look at certain things about that hammer on like about society, like equality, like rape, like justice against people of different identities or backgrounds, you will see that if you actually have love in your heart for yourself and for people, there's definitely no way that you would constitute so much of like this harm towards others. So I just believe that first place we could start from is teaching each other how to love ourselves, and not just what you talk about in your religious schools or like the Christ love. No, I'm talking about actually loving people and wanting to help them and wanting better for ourselves and people. Because I feel like if we love people, means we can start to love society. You don't love society if you don't love people. So that's where I just feel like we can start from. I know it's very cliche, but I strongly believe in it.
Oh, I sort of enjoy this perspective. And as much as I feel like it's actually very refreshing, and I hope that we all can actually gravitate towards this. And I feel like sometimes like the person said about not serving them. Even me talking about things alone sort of helps. Just really putting it out there, drawing attention to those things. But yeah, I think your response is actually lovely, Kelvin. We're holding hands and we're doing kumbaya. So that's really amazing. But I would say that I've always I had to learn that it's about putting like laws in order. Like I just whatever means, whether it could be liberal or something, but I just want laws to be situated. And I think for me that's like how. But at the same time, if people are not bringing like ready to like put in the work, and like it talks about love, then those laws will just probably fall apart. But Kelvin,
because laws are important, but human beings are going to be the ones to follow these laws. Human beings are going to also be the ones to enforce these laws. If I don't have love for people, I will not be able to enforce these laws very well, because there's no love for. Because if you love people, you tend to look away from their maybe identities or things that like differentiates them from other people, like skin color, like sexuality, like gender, all those things. Because you just love people. You just, I talk to somebody and I connect to this person. It's not because they are this gender or that color. It's just because I just love them. Something like that. Yeah. That's why I feel.
Thank you, Kelvin. Yeah, that's really lovely. Love is one thing I really hope that we can actually pursue as a people. Hopefully we get to do that. Should we talk about the next question now? Because I think this one you would. Wow, they are really coming for you, Kelvin. And yeah, so this is hi Kelvin. I found one of your episodes very disturbing. You were talking about polygamy and monogamy, and you seemed to strongly support polygamy. Do you think that's better for people?
Yeah, so you see, the thing is that I understand that perspective. I had that episode. Was it early this year?
Okay, we're trying to be defensive. Or okay.
No, so I had that episode early this year. So I'll tell you what I'm talking about. I had that episode early this year. So the thing is, if we have opinion A or opinion B, if I strongly oppose opinion A, does not mean I don't support opinion B. Do you get?
Yeah.
I don't know if you get that what I'm trying to illustrate. So on the episode, I was strongly, it's not strongly, but I know it was not really mild, but I was speaking about monogamy in a way that I might not be fancy. I was just saying that like probably monogamy is not what is like the perfect thing for us, or monogamy is not what nature designed for us, because like why do we keep wanting more partners and all those things? So that does not necessarily mean I would do monogamy or I strongly support. I would do polygamy or I strongly support polygamy. I was just saying that monogamy doesn't seem to work, especially in this day and age. Now, bear in mind that I don't really have much experience. I'm not really active in the dating scene or in any scene about romance, like heavily for that matter. I'm mostly not, so, I've not tried to romantically involve the people I have been, or I'm not really heavy on that. So I just feel like based off of what I see, based off of comment I see and what's happening because I'm a big observer. So I observe a lot. And based off of what I see, I don't think monogamy works. I just feel like probably there's something we could do about that. So I now say that polygamy, like personally, I will not practice polygamy, but I just feel like a lot of people should do it if they're okay with it, if they can agree and are fine with it, they should do it, because instead of going out and like going out of your way and still cheating and telling yourself that you're a monogamist, since you want multiple partners, why not just do multiple partners and be okay? That's what I feel. And that's what I was saying there, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Kelvin, like, okay, so I really don't really sort of mess with polygamy, so I'm not going to comment on that. Like, I'm anti-polygamy. Like, I'm against it completely. Like, I can't even make any case for it. I'm just like, oh my god. So, Kelvin, do you want to tell me something that you're not saying indirectly? But I get it. I get the fact that we can point out all the lapses and just really put it out there. Yeah, I think hopefully the person understands where you're coming from. So I should talk about the next question. Yeah, I think I like this one. Oh wow. Now the person goes, hey, there's a podcast today with Ene Ijato, and it was talking about feminism and equality. At what stage do you think we might have achieved equality? So that's the question they asked you.
Funny, but I probably might have thought about this before. And look at something. By the way, Ene Ijato is a really smart person, and I really enjoyed having her on the show last year. That was last year now.
Yeah, I think I listened to that episode. Yeah,
probably last year. It was lovely having her, and she's smart too. Something I think about is that what metric are we using to describe or define equality?
Isn't it black or white, Kelvin?
And equal to who? Because equality is something that is not something that can be really measured. Because we are like equal to what and equal to whom? Because it could be a man who is losing in life, and I could be a man who is winning in life. So which one do we want to be equal with? I could be a woman who is losing, who is really treated poorly, or I could be a woman who is winning and who is treated very well. There's no, like, I don't see like a really clear line on what quality would be, like how we could measure it. Sorry, I'm talking about measuring. I understand equality and I strongly support it, but in terms of measuring whether we are there yet, it's something that's hard to put put a finger on. But let me tell you something. I strongly believe that when we reach the point where people are treating each other fairly, we reach the point where people are treating each other with love, when there's justice, when law enforcement their job correctly, when things just seem to work, there's a time where you would see that things just seem right. And you can say that we've probably reached a standard for what a sane society can look like. But for now, we are not there. But in the terms of measuring when we'll reach equality, I don't think we would ever have like a baseline or, okay, we are now having equality. I don't think so. But like, let's not think about it in the term of like probably equality. Let's think about it in the term of like society in general. When everyone is included, when everyone is treated fairly, when everyone feels like the government is working for their good. You understand? When everyone can walk out in the day or night and not fear for their life. All those things, then we can say we've reached a sane society, I guess. This is just my own opinion. I wonder what Tobere has to say about that.
Yeah, Kelvin. I sort of liked, this perspective, but I've always felt like equality to me has always been like, it's been like black and white. Like, trying to like look at the things in between. I've never really thought about it like that, and maybe I should. But equality, as a woman, if you asked me, way before, I just thought but I think now whatever can be awarded or accorded to the male gender, I feel like as a woman, I should be able to, have that. And I want to have a fighting chance. I'm not saying, and I feel like it's in stages. Like people have all groups. If I would say, I can't be comparing myself to one multi-millionaire or whatever and say I want to be equal to this person. Okay, maybe if I were a millionaire and like doing the same thing or like sort of in the same field, then we have the same category. Or like an average girl, just though is cool, and I have another, guy of just the male gender. And we're doing the same thing. We're like starting at, the same. I want us to like have equal opportunities in that, field. So equality for me can't just be, because I'm not going to like delude myself and say, let me start, but I think it's just anywhere you are as a woman or as a man, you should have an opportunity to like do whatever the other person can do, especially if you're putting in the work as much. So that's how I've actually seen it. And I think we can do that, or we can get to that point if men, and this is me being really very blunt, if men begin to see women as something more than they've always, seen women, like they can, more than this weak vessel and all of these things that they always, put on women. It's I don't understand. Like, I think I spoke to someone today and then she told me, a woman actually, and she said to me that she doesn't want to be equal to her husband. She wants to be beneath her husband. And as much as it was stressful, I couldn't even like begin to unpack that with this lady. But I just watched her say these things, and I would not even blame her where she's lived in a society where they told her time and again, a man is above you, your husband is above you, you can't say certain things when they are men, they are everything. But for me, like I've said, equality is, if I can do something as Tobore, or Kelvin is doing that thing, then let myself, Tobore as a woman, be able to do that, especially if you're like putting in the same effort, the same time, amongst other things. So that is why. But there is another thing I want you to talk about, Kelvin. I've actually never really heard your perspective on like really like how you see feminism as its like purest form. Do you think it's just, how do you really view feminism if they ask you, or what really, like where do you like place your emphasis more, your attention when it comes to women's, liberation or whatever? Like what? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think like for equality and like in society in general, there are things that are easy to solve, like workplace equality. I think that's easy to solve. Just make laws and punish people who don't adhere to those laws that, once they start restricting a certain gender from entering into a certain kind of workplace, or they pay a certain gender unfairly, can punish that. I think that's easy to tackle.
Even cutting, Kelvin, because who makes the laws? Again, these are men, privileged men.
In the US right now,
offenders, these are men.
In the US right now, if you don't like have a certain there's this bill inclusivity quota. There's a certain kind of quota you need to pass as a company. If you don't have that, then you could probably go to jail for that. And then, salaries are now open. People are talking openly about what they earn so that they will not negotiate badly for themselves. They will not like sell themselves short. So all those things in the next 10 years, I feel like workplace equality might be a thing, like really standardly. Like we should not have any issue. My own problem is down to we as everyday interactions in society. Like my problem with equality is how the man will see a woman and how a woman will see me. That's where that's the hardest part, because we've gone through years and years of social conditioning, both as men and women in the same environment. That's like we've learned a lot of things. We've been socialized in these ways to like think or perceive in certain ways how this gender should behave, or what is expected from this gender, or what is expected from that gender. So these are things that we've been socialized into. So I think that's what I really wanted. Like, that's my own biggest concern: how we see ourselves in society. And
Yeah.
so, for a man like this now, let's say let's take a 1950s man. 1950, an archetype of the 1950s man. This is his own mindset that he's the head of the home. He's the like alpha, that he's above and he should lead, and women should follow, that, women don't talk when he's talking. And then he provides, that he's the one who brings the money. After that, he does nothing. The woman will take care of home. She cooks, she cleans, she brings up children and all those things. I'm just saying, like, the archetype of probably a 1950s man. And now, what's an archetype of the 1950s woman? She's been raised to see men as above her. She's been raised to like respect men and not talk down on men and not talk when men are talking. And she should see men as like above her, so she should respect men, and that she can't raise her voice on her husband when he's talking to her. That she should be modest and she should wear a certain kind of clothes. That there's a certain kind of expectation. She has certain. She believes that there are certain ways that society expects her to behave, and there are certain things she also expects a man. So these are two archetypes of what men back in the days and women back in the days would see. And these are things that probably still manifest in our society today. But I'm just saying that if we can purge that mindset of what a woman expects of a man traditionally and what a man expects of a woman traditionally, if we can purge that mindset, I think we can go a very long way in achieving equality. Those expectations or those beliefs of what a man is or what a woman is or what is expected of a man or what is expected of a woman. If we start doing away with all those things, I feel like we would go a really long way in achieving equality. That's what I think. I think we talked about this before, and we are even supposed to do a podcast on this where we'll go like deep down into it. Probably we'll talk about those things in this podcast, maybe, I guess.
Yeah, I think yeah. Just one more comment on that, Kelvin. And that was like very, I liked that. But I think I had a conversation with someone some time ago. And then as much as I was making the case of, people should actually just be better and do better. And it made me understand that you can't really dictate, you can't really determine. So, you can't know how people will think. You can't even control that. The things you can control are the laws. I'm actually now even a big fan of actually putting those laws in place where these men it's mainly men in this case, where you want to oppress the other gender, can't do that. And when they do, there should be consequences. You talked about workplace stuff. I think in every other aspect, even though it's just day-to-day interaction, there could be laws that will be put in place. For instance, you can't really just, see a woman and you want to like touch her while she's walking on the street and it's just like minding her business, or you're making advances at her and you think, you can just have this woman because you're a man, you can have her. I think they should place laws in every single aspect. I can't really wait for a man to all of a sudden change his ways and be a good person, and I can't really restart. So I hope that it will get to a point where in every aspect of the society that concerns like the safety of women, there should be laws in place to protect women. And hopefully we can get to that point. But at the same time, I'm still hoping that people can actually just be better. But I wish that, wishes were horses. I liked it when I don't know. I feel like I can't really just put my money on that. But both of them can actually be helpful and be effective if you ask me. But Kelvin, I think maybe I think you talked about wanting to have a conversation about feminism and society and other things also. Maybe we could do that. But yeah, thank you, Kelvin. God, we talked a lot on feminism. When it comes up, it's always like a lot to say. But yeah, thank you, Kelvin. This next one is actually very soft. Someone is trying to know you, Kelvin. Like they want to know you. Now, the person is saying that you really talk about yourself on the podcast. So I'm a little curious and want to know who you are. Like, so they don't know who you are, you don't talk about yourself on your podcast. So they're asking, Who's Kelvin?
I think that's probably because I don't associate the podcast with myself. So, myself in the sense that I mostly don't talk about the podcast on my personal social media feed, except on probably WhatsApp, where people who know have my number on WhatsApp know that I anchor this podcast. So the thing is, you're probably not someone who I'm close with, like on WhatsApp. If not, you would know me because I'm big on saying a lot of things. I constantly have something to say. That's number one. And if I who am I? That's a question. That's a hard one. There's this guy that said that I as in singular I is the hardest thing to define. But I'm like a software guy. So on a regular day you would find me writing code. If I'm not writing code for on my computer, I'm reading or I'm learning something. So I like to read, I like to know stuff, and I like to talk. Not talk, but I like to type a lot of stuff. So I'm really probably typing opinions or reading articles or opinion articles, or I'm reading or that kind of stuff. But I'm a very solitary person. I spend a lot of time alone. So a lot of my daily life is spent by myself. So that's who I am, I guess. But I don't really know how to expand on that. So that's what I just have to say.
Yeah. I think that's fair enough. But yeah, even listening to you like talk about yourself, I'm like, oh, I didn't know. I mean, I knew a couple of them, but yeah, I hope that response is actually yeah. So the next question here, they're asking you who's one person you want to badly have a conversation with.
Probably Chimamanda.
Oh, no, Kelvin calling them. Oh, I don't really, Kelvin. That's come on.
I really love Chimamanda. I don't know.
She's not even into tech. Like, she's not into tech. Why not?
But I've always thought about her. How would I? Because there's a friend of mine. I talked with her on this podcast, and I usually have private discussions with her. She talks like Chimamanda. Her name is Nkechi, and anytime we are talking, as she's Igbo, by the way. So anytime we are talking, it just feels like I'm talking with Chimamanda. And I just feel like, what would it be like to have a conversation with Chimamanda? And yeah, she's probably the first thing that came to my mind. But, if I'm more relaxed, I could have said another name, maybe like Lex Friedman or something like that. That guy is like an AI person. Or if I could pick one author that has died before, I probably want to talk with like John Paul Sartre, or I'll talk with there's this feminist that wrote The Second Sex. I've forgotten her name now. Or Bell Hooks, or certain other kind of authors that have died now. I have some authors that I would have loved to interview, like Albert Camus and all those good authors. But people that are still living, probably Chimamanda, Lex Friedman. I want to know what goes on in the mind of Ozzy Etomi. So, because I see her opinions on Twitter, so I want to know what goes on in her mind. So I would have really loved to have a conversation with her too, Ozzy Etomi. And not many people. I'm not a big fan of. The thing is that I'm not like. It's like I don't keep people as heroes or something. Yeah. So I don't like. I don't make people heroes that I'm aspiring to meet this person or that kind of thing. But there are people there are certain people I want to have conversations with. I can't list all of them right now, but at least I think I've mentioned 3. So yeah, I think that's good.
I'm still like really, I mean, you called amazing, but I'm just thinking like, what would you ask, like one question you're dying to ask Adichie, what would that be?
When you first broke a man's heart, which I know you would have done. When you
Oh.
first broke your man's heart, which I know you would have done, how did it feel like?
I mean, what the hell?
There was a
You're
conversation
joking.
she did with there was a conversation she did with Ibuka, and she talked about her love life.
Oh,
her
I watched
relationship,
that, yeah.
this thing. So, and it was really nice. So I was just curious. I know that she would have been like a breaker of hearts. I know certain people when I see them, so definitely I want to know. It's just one of those wild questions, not really.
And I'm here thinking to myself that you want to question some things or how she sort of perceives or portrays again feminism, like how all men do. Most of them are like, "Oh, I don't like this, I don't like that." Not Kelvin.
If I want to have a conversation with Chimamanda, what do we want to talk about feminism again? You know, feminism will go on and on and on. We'll talk about a lot of things of feminism, but why should I be questioning her perspective on feminism? I want to know her as a person, apart from ideologies, apart from opinions, apart from worldviews. I want to really know people. That's one thing I like to strive for on the podcast. Like I ask personal questions too. I want to know people apart from all these things, because I believe that who are mostly, people are not identical to their thoughts. So their thoughts are not who they are for the large part. And I've noticed that, it's something that would seem foolish to say, but I've noticed that in myself and in a lot of people just say these things, they just have these opinions. They don't necessarily believe in it sometimes. They just say certain things. I'm not talking about like Chimamanda and feminism now. I'm just like in general, like certain things that we say, certain things that we think. We are not identical to those things. Sometimes I just want to know who people are. Apart from all the opinions and never-ending worldviews.
I do hope you meet her someday, Kelvin. I would love to even listen to that conversation or the interview. So this is me praying for you. So So on to the next one. This is good. So they said there's an episode you talked about nihilism. It feels like a dark way to see life. I would like you to expand on it. So let me ask you, are you a nihilist, Kelvin? No, I don't think so.
Isms and titles that you can add to yourself. Or I'm not labeled, I'm just Kelvin. And okay, down to that question. Let's see. Dark way of seeing life. Yeah. So nihilism is that nothing has meaning, or there's no meaning to the world. So we should not try to we should not try so hard every single day to make meaning out of all the mess that it is, that the world is right now. So I'm not a nihilist. I just kind of like the world view to a certain extent that, we try so much to make meaning out of certain things that instead of us to just like flow with life and enjoy it, as there's always a template for what life enjoyment could be. And that's my problem with people. They don't enjoy life. They follow a template of what life enjoyment is, plenty food, vacations and trips. All those things are good, but it's a template, is one way of enjoying life. I've been to a lot of things personally. And something I've questioned people about, but I'll say it. Like, I've been to a lot of places. I've tried to have fun in template way of having fun or enjoying life, like doing certain things that people see on social media as a way of having fun. I've done all those things, but am I really happy at that moment? Is it something that's filling me up as I'm doing it? So I've asked people, are they always happy in that moment where they are doing things that are the template way of having fun? Or is it just when they post it on social media and they see people commenting that the happiness now comes? But I have an idea that way of enjoying life is connecting with people. That's how I truly feel good. I think this is why I like having conversations, like sitting down over coffee, over beer, and just, I don't drink beer, by the way. I'm just saying it, but I drink wine. Just sit down, connect with people. I find that when I connect with the person and like talk with them and, do things that make them happy, or they do things that make me happy, it's really satisfying. I am having fun that way. And this is just me, Sha. It's not like I know people have different opinions on how they should enjoy life. I really just don't like have to deep things to like one deep things, follow a template. Yeah, people like to follow a template. There's a template on how you should live your life. There's a template on how you should enjoy life. There's always a template on how you should do every single thing in this world. And I have a problem with templates because if you look at life, why are people just doing this thing in only this way? Why are people doing this thing in only that way? There's a template on how you should be beautiful. There's a template on how you should be handsome. I mean, fuck these templates. We could just stray with this template and not try to deep life too much. And just because some of these things have no meaning, they have no inherent meaning, which is just like, say that we should just live life like that. I know this is not what a journalist might think or tell you, but this is what I just feel like it should. I'm sorry, this is just what I see life as. Yeah, I'm not an analyst, but I just feel like at the core of everything, you going to church to pray or going to mosque to pray, you are following a template like that too. I mean, is there meaning to that? I don't know. You would answer that yourself, but me personally, I just feel like I don't want to follow any templates because I don't see too much meaning in these templates. Yeah.
Wow. So one of the things I'm enjoying about this is I ask, these questions all these questions have been asked. And then the responses I get from you is like very, it's not even common. And I really, I'm like, wow, just smiling here. Kevin, thank you for not being normal, not being like the normal, boring, everyday people. I'm so excited for that. Thank you. Really, I'm really honored again to even be listening to you talk about these things. Yeah. So we have the next question. So the person goes, when did you start to become aware of yourself?
These questions, who are asking them?
People really want to know you, Kelvin. So
when did I start to become aware of myself? I think I started to observe my own thoughts at a very early age because I'm an early writer. I used to write. I just feel like writing is a way of thinking too. Yeah, that's why I respect writers. Like if you can write, it means you actually have a structured way of thinking. So let's see. There's this thing I used to do when I was growing up. I think I was in junior secondary school. Every night, I'll sit down and analyze all the things that are not going well in my life. I'll just probably, you can call it like a list of problems every day. So I'm just giving an instance, like a list of problems in my life and see how I can tackle all those things. I think from that young age, I was someone who liked to introspect and look at my life in structured way and try to see if I can assess myself and solve my problems or any problem I'm facing at that point. So I think it was one of the ways I started to become aware of myself and my surrounding. And also I was always probably anti so many things when I was growing up, like certain things that people would tell me, although I was still strongly religious at that point, but I doubts I was having were all these questions like, why did God do this? Why did God design that in a certain way? So I was becoming aware of my environment, and I was also becoming aware of how I was thinking at that point. Like, why am I thinking this thing? Or why am I believing this thing? Or mommy said this thing like this. Why should it be like that? Who gave this others or something like that? So at that point, I was just asking a lot. I don't know if that's part of being self-aware. I don't know what is mean of being self-aware, to be honest. But I just feel like at that point, I was recognizing my own thoughts and recognizing certain things I believe in and recognizing my own life, looking at it by myself. I don't know what's the meaning of being self-aware, Tori.
I mean, it could mean, thank you again. It could mean a lot of things, and even questioning things around you could be some form of, being aware of yourself. I think, but just knowing who you are, your person, knowing where your views come from, or the things you actually gravitate towards, the people you find yourself wanting to be around, just how you perceive things and people, amongst other things. So yeah, I think questioning even, like I said, your environment is actually a very very vital. It plays a very vital role in actually forming oneself. Yeah, Kelvin. Like, do you know who asks these questions though? Like, these are people that
Yeah,
really,
the thing is
really
that they are
care though.
anonymous. So the form is anonymous.
Wow. I'm just like, it's really lovely actually. Okay, so let's see. Oh, it's 5 minutes to Christmas, Kelvin. So we're gonna
That's
be here.
amazing.
Yeah, I tell you.
That's great. I mean, this is something. This is the first time I'm doing this, and it's lovely. I mean, it's really nice that I would have to say Merry Christmas to you on the show. Yeah, but let's go on.
Yeah. Oh, this one is actually some sort of tea. So we're going to unpack it. So they go high. First, they fan here. This person is a first, a fan, a new fan. The person goes, "What happened to Taiwo and David, the people you started the podcast with?"
Okay. First day fan, meaning he was like there from the first day of the podcast.
Oh, okay. All right.
I think that's why he's asking about Taiwan and David. So initially, when I started this podcast, I started it with two co-hosts, Taiwo and David. But David was my first trailer episode. And his name, I don't think you would have heard his voice anywhere on any other episode. But me and Taiwo did the first two episodes together, I guess. Or the first two or the first episode, my episode 1, which was really shit because of the audio. It was really bad audio at that point. No, but the thing is, people who have other interest, and since I was strongly the one who brought the idea for the podcast and wanted to do the podcast, I only asked them to join me as co-host. But it seemed that they got busy or they had other things to do. So, I mean, there's no hard feelings. They are still my friends. I still talk with them. We are not beefing, but they just can't do the podcast with me anymore. That's the thing.
Oh, okay. All right. That's fair enough. Apparently, maybe the person thought that something else happened.
Yeah, like P Square.
No, tell me referencing P Square. Wow, that's shade though. The shade. Yeah. All right. So we have the next question here, and this is sort of similar to the first one, but I think it's much more. The person goes, as someone who comments on society and talks a lot about it, what scares you the most about the future of society?
Scares me the most. What am I scared of? I think I'm scared of us versus them. Is this us versus them mentality that's like growing? You see it a lot on like social spaces, that there's this belief that it's always us versus them. So I know that human beings are inherently tribal, but I don't know if maybe I was programmed to believe that, because what I'm saying now it just sounds like trash, that human beings are inherently tribal. I don't know that for a fact. Maybe it's just something that I'm programmed to believe because I know that human beings were really tribal at some point. But I just feel like this us versus them mentality is killing us, and I don't know where it will lead us. This hate that because somebody does not believe the same thing as me, I should be wicked to them, or somebody does not share the same opinions with me, I should label them as the devil or something. So I just feel like that's something that I fear. I don't know how it would propagate in the future, because I hate. If you are not on my team, I hate you and all those things. That's really something that I fear, and I don't know where it will lead. I think that's one of the major things I fear, that us versus them mentality.
Yeah, I mean, just even listening to you talk about, like what when we were talking earlier, I told you about what's going on in Clubhouse, and it's actually real, Kelvin. You're not even like hearing voices in your head. People are like really doing this thing where if you're not on my team, you're my enemy. It's really scary, and I think I saw it because I don't really socialize. I don't really put myself out there, but joining Clubhouse sort of changed that. And I go there and I realize that if you don't share my view, that's like how people see the whole thing, then you hate me and I hate you. Like, there can't be a space where you can say, okay, this is how you think, this is how I think, then let's just move on. It's really a lot. Like it's actually a poison. Like, and I think that's actually I'm good. But if I were to sort of, oh God, I'm sorry, no, then Kelvin.
Yeah, sure, I'm with you.
Merry Christmas. I'm not going to say Xmas, like Merry Christmas. And then the knockouts are going on. Like, it's crazy, too.
Yeah, Merry Christmas. I don't know. Wow, it's really amazing. It's really amazing. I mean, to share this moment with you. And having all these nice conversations and commentary at this point. Yeah, it's nice. Merry Christmas to you and to everybody too listening right now.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah, we just forgot about obvious.
This
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Yeah. I just hope this episode will be out before next year. I'll probably edit it very fast because I want it to be out there before next year. So yeah, sure.
Oh, okay.
This is nice.
Yeah.
I mean, so
yeah, just so so back to the stuff. I just feel like for me, if what scares me more about society, I think it's always be the gender thing, the divide that it creates and how harmful it can be, especially to my gender. So hopefully we can get to a point where people can just begin to see themselves as people, and because it determines a lot. Like, we sort of limit or dismiss the role that gender plays. It's everything. It's how you think. It's how you have conversations. How you sort of most times even dress. It's a whole lot, and I hope that it doesn't really. We can actually just meet and just be happy people, I guess. But yeah, Kelvin, that was that. This one you talked about Clubhouse people. They've shown me that if you don't talk with my view, you're my enemy, and it's very scary inside.
Yeah. So it's something I don't dig at all.
Very, very awful. Okay, so we have. Oh, this. The question goes: do you feel a little jealous when you see other podcasts gaining all the spotlight and attention?
I do.
Oh wow!
The thing about how do I answer this? I think Hinted Neuron is doing really well for itself right now. Yeah, but do I feel jealous? No, I do not. I mean, people whose podcasts are on that spotlight, they deserve it because they put in the work and everything they are doing right now. I'm probably a lazy podcaster. I don't promote. So most of the promotion I do is just like it's like the basic stuff. So, I mean, if people put in the work of promoting their podcast, networking, and trying to build an audience actively, and they deserve what they are getting. Me, my audience is probably a consistent one, and I have good number of listens a month. So, I mean, I'm okay. I don't see the need to be jealous about any other podcast. I mean, so far I'm getting what I want to say out there. I'm having the conversations I love, and they're out there for people to listen to. And that's a lot. I mean, the thing about creating something, the only place where you'll be really pained is when people don't give a shit at all. You understand? Imagine you create something and people don't like it or people don't hate it. And people just don't care. I mean, then you would probably feel so much hatred on yourself that people don't even care about what I create. They neither like it and they don't even love it at all. Like, sometimes that people hate your podcast. At least they're listening to it and they are giving opinions that they hate it. People like your podcast, they're listening to it and they're giving opinions that they like it. What if people don't even care at all? That would have been bad. But at least I know that people listen and some might not like, but I mean, I'm still engaging an audience. So definitely, there's nothing to be jealous of.
Yeah, well said, Kelvin. Yeah, thank you for that. It's about just doing what you enjoy and, doesn't, I mean.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next question is, I want to know this one even myself. And I know that I have my questions for you also at the end of the whole thing, yeah?
Sure.
Did I tell you?
Sure.
All right, cool.
Sure.
The person goes, hi Kelvin. I would like to know the most pleasant and ugly parts of 2021 for you.
Okay, 2021. Before the beginning of the year, I was having these goals that I wanted to like be in places where I can solve really hard problems and, connect to people, connect with a lot of, people who know more than me so that we could collaborate and solve hard problems together. But I probably did not do that at a very large scale this year. I still try to like do stuff, but that was a failure on my part. I didn't achieve that goal. I didn't really achieve that. I was trying, but I did a lot of stuff too. I did the research that got published. I
Oh wow.
network to people. But the thing is, it just depends on how you define, like how you measure yourself. But me, the measurements I put for myself, I would say I not really. It's what I wanted. I achieved if like for some people, if they were optimizing for money, yeah, they would have. I would have. If I was optimizing for money, I would have. I would say I have a good year. But my optimization is not just for money. There's something that I'm really optimizing for in my life. That's why I can't say that, I really clicked all the goals I wanted to. I don't have goals. I just have things I want to do, but I did do them. So I had to do that. That was one part that I didn't like. And I was just not in those spaces I wanted to be. That was one part I did not like. I suffered a heartbreak. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I think that was some of my first encounter with betrayal and all those things and lies. People lying to you and betraying you like that. I've really had like a pure journey through, all my life. Like I've not really had people who betrayed and lied to me like that. But this year I encountered those kind of people. So
yeah,
and I wrote my GRE exams. I wrote my TOEFL exams. They went well. I applied to grad school. I applied to 12 schools or 12 programs. Yeah. I mean, that's still something I'm really hoping to shout. I'm really hoping to shout next year when I see a congratulations email. I hope that works, but all those things are in the works right now. So yeah, those are some good parts of 2021. But 2021 was filled with a lot of work for me. I worked really hard. I was working. We're trying to earn money, trying to read for my exams, trying to apply to grad school and all these other things. I mean, it was a lot of work for the most part. Sometimes when I think about some of the work I did, like I say, why did I even distract myself by trying to follow a human in the first place? I mean,
don't do that. Come on.
I mean, but I'm really in a good place right now. I'm ending the year on a very calm and soft note, being my joy, being happy, no palpitations, and just really living my life. Like, it's like nothing is going wrong right now. I'm happy for that.
Yeah, I'm also happy that your wins are like way more than your losses. So that's actually very good. And I'm happy for all the things that you achieved, Kelvin. Really, I am. I'm just very, very proud of you. I am. And I hope that you find love come 2022. Yes, Kelvin, we're doing that for you.
I'm not really looking for love. I think
that's what
for the most part, that is like a distraction for me because I saw how trying to love a person was really distracting for me. So I don't really want that this new year. No, I don't want that. I just want to be more focused on my work and seeing if I can get into the spaces I want to get into and being more productive. That's what I want.
Fair enough, Kelvin.
And also being more intentional with my friendships. Like I really have amazing people, platonic friends around, and I really want to be more intentional about that. This year shows that. This year I was happy that I could be able to be intentional about my friendships and nurture them in a way that they seem healthy. So I want that for next year too. Big on platonic friendship, less on the romantic.
Well, are you sure we don't unpack something? Do you want to heal? This is a safe space. We can talk about. I don't know, man. Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah. All right. So, we have another question. The next one. Oh, this is actually very lovely. I mean, very warm, so to said. What's something you're excited about right now? Like, what excites you as we're speaking?
Something that excites me right now. Movies and no, would I say movies? No. I think the kind of work I'm doing right now excites me. Let's see. It's a hard question because I'm excited about a lot of things that like
Okay, tell me the top three. Tell me the top three.
I'm currently working on this research with somewhere I'm doing. I'm working with. We're doing this research on Alzheimer's disease, and I think it's going really well. I'm excited about that. I'm excited to see where it goes on making drugs for Alzheimer's. Another thing, I'm working with people who know what they're doing. I'm excited about that, and I'm learning and connecting with people, like contributing to people's lives and learning a lot of new things, like people who can also help me. I'm around that space right now, so I'm excited about that. So that's just for me. If you're talking about something in the world right now, out there in the world, I'm excited about. I'm misanthropical because you might start to think that I hate society so much that I'm not excited about anything in society. But let me think for a minute. I've been really talking about anything for like much. That's all. I'm not really excited about much, I guess.
Well, that's actually. Kelvin, I'm actually blank, to be honest. I'm really blank. But yeah, maybe when I think of something, I'll let you know. So
I should.
Yeah, these were good. Yeah, really good. So we have another one. Okay, and Kelvin, you're going to even me, I'm actually eager to hear this one. So they said that you should tell us something your listeners would never know about you. Let me be very focused. So, Kelvin, what don't people know about you?
You're asking me something my listeners would never know about me. So why do you expect me to now spill it on my podcast?
Come on. Honest, no way.
I could just say something as a lie and okay.
No, you're honest, Kelvin. You don't lie. You don't lie. Come on, Kelvin. Tell us something.
Something my listeners would never know about me is that.
What about that one you told me that time? That was like, wow, that's like not even true. It starts with a D.
D?
It starts with a D and it's about music and shaking your body,
Oh, drink.
No.
Dance. What was that?
Dancing. Do you know that you dance? You told me that you dance.
Yeah, I dance a lot. I like to dance. I dance even yesterday or day before yesterday. Was it because I was having a party by myself and I was just dancing in my room.
Kelvin, that's sad. Why? You have a party by yourself, Kelvin.
Yeah. Because
I'm dead.
The music. See, let me tell you. Once you have food,
oh dear.
Once I'm eating and there's really good music and there's wine, I just start dancing. I mean, it's fun. You just be dancing like you be dancing
all by yourself, really.
Yeah, like you're in a concert and you start cheering yourself up and like just hyping yourself and you just dance. Like, I mean, it's really cool.
I'm picturing that, like, and it's like not really like it's not really too pleasant. Like it's giving me I don't know. You want to talk about something, Kelvin?
And I dance and I start and I'm laughing because I'm really happy at that moment and I'm sweating because I'm really happy and I'm enjoying it. So it doesn't seem sad to me. I think it's fun. Or it doesn't sound fun to people.
okay, would people know that you dance? Like, would they be shocked the way I was when I found out that you could actually dance?
My close friends that have lived with me in a space would know that I like to shake my body and dance. But if somebody has stayed with me for a while, you see that I just like dancing. I like to
Wow.
dance.
I hope I can actually get a video of you doing that because I'm still like doubting you, Kelvin. Come on.
I don't video myself dancing, but I just like to dance, move my body to music and just be happy. I like to be happy. Like I'm a very happy person on my own. So that's why I feel like I'm solitary because I'm just being on my own, chilling. I enjoy my own company very well, very, very well. So that's why I don't see people as like an escape medium. Let me be with this person so that I can escape my thought or myself. I enjoy my company and it's really nice. So
that's actually okay. So Kelvin, now that you told me about dancing before, and I just wanted to like know, but you've not answered the question. You're not going to like run away from this one. So tell us something that we do not even know, Kelvin. I'm actually like we go ahead, Kelvin, please.
Something that people do not know. Like art. People probably know.
Kelvin, everyone knows that. Like, if you go to your IG, you see that, dude. You kid, come on. Like it's like public knowledge, Kelvin. That's this. You're not being fair.
Okay, that I'm a lazy person. People know that.
You mean?
Let me see.
Of course. Okay.
Let me see. A secret about my life. A secret about my life. I think there's anything secret about my life that would be like you'd be surprised to hear about. Let's see.
So see what's gonna happen, Kelvin. You will come back to that question. I will personally come back to it. So yeah, let's just really keep that in mind. Yeah. So now, next question here is let me see. So they are asking, what are the best books you read in 2021? Also, what's your best movie from 2021?
Oh, that's a nice question. If you think about it, that's a nice. Yeah, I think I will enjoy this one. Let's see. I read Odell Esker Back by Daniel. Was it Daniel or David? Something. So that book was about the Odell, like Gödel's, the one who did Gödel's incompleteness theorem. Back is a musician, and Bach is like that pianist, and Esker is painter. Or he used to draw this like illusions or something. I don't know what they're called. But there's a certain loop inside some of his drawings. So I read that book. It was really nice. He talked about certain ideas about intelligence and AI and all these things. I have not finished that book. I dropped it at some point. I read there's this thing about death, The Denial of Death by Ernest Becker. I read that one. It was nice. I actually had the chance to finish that book this year. And, Ernest Becker talks about how we deny death and how we, I think it's something that is even prevalent in modern society. We try to we say when people talk about death, we say God forbid, like as if it's something that would not eventually happen. I mean, we pray that we live long, yeah, sure, but I think it's something that should be like on our minds, that we should meditate on it, that I will die someday. And what do I have to do now to make sure that, okay, when I finally die, I would not be there regretting that, I didn't do this. I mean, there's still be a lot of things that you would not do before you die, but, just actively working towards what you want to work towards, so that, because you don't have infinite time. So, I mean, that was depressing to say. So, let me see. I read which book did I read that really blew my mind? I was posting a lot about let's see. I was reading, which book was I reading? Okay, let me just talk about movies. I'll probably remember the books I read. There's this one, if you remember, there's this movie I talked to you about, like the Voyagers. No, was it the Voyagers? Like these kids that they were trained for childhood for a space mission.
Oh, you liked the movie.
I liked it because it's not that it was grand in any way. It's not like there's something special, but there's something about it that I liked. It showed the core human nature. The fact that, that you can try to engineer human beings to behave in a certain way. But human nature of greed, of evil, of want, of envy, and all those things would still come up. And it's something I tend to think about, that problem with human being is not identities, it's not opinions, it's not belief, it's just human being. Problem is we human beings ourselves, that if we don't tame it and if we don't try to be in control and live our lives like animals, that's what would always happen. There will always be chaos. But if we live our lives in a state where we are always conscious of the actions we are about to take, and we are conscious about what we are about to say and all those things, we would not have so many problems. But people try to live their lives on autopilot. They just do anything that they want to do. They are not introspective. They are not conscious about what they are saying to people. They are not conscious about what they are doing to people and all those things. But yeah, I know certain people are even conscious about what they are doing. What am I saying? Certain people are even conscious about what they are doing, but they still do them anyway if they know it's bad. So all those things too, human nature is not really the best. Look at me saying this thing like I'm a perfect person, but I'm just saying I'm a flawed person too. But I still try to introspect and make sure that I am very conscious about a lot of things I'm saying, I'm doing that, and that's how you propagate kindness too into the world. Okay, another good movie I saw. I didn't really see a lot of new movies this year, but I saw a lot of old ones. Okay, there's this movie I saw. I don't know what year is Fahrenheit 451. There's a book on it, and this guy was there. Michael B. Jordan was the main actor. It was set in a world where books and knowledge was no longer allowed. So if they find you with a book, they'll burn it. And so it made they tried to devoid. It was set in the society. I think everyone should read the book. It's amazing. It's an amazing story. Imagine a world where they said opinions, writers and writings and all these things, they were the cause of the world's problem. So if we try to ditch opinions, if we try to ditch books, and we just share a common consciousness, a common mindset, that this would be good for humanity. So it was set in a world where, in a futuristic world where there were patrol officers. You can think of Hunger Games, but or the Divergent trilogy. So something like that, like in an advanced world where if they find you with any book, there were cameras everywhere, there was AI everywhere, but no books. Nobody's allowed to obtain any kind of knowledge. They thought that knowledge, hope, and all these sentiments were the cause of human problems. That if we could ditch all these things, we could have a sane society. But that didn't end well, because there were people who were rebellious and who tried to rebel that, and who were still reading and trying to find a way to protect all of humans' knowledge from all the years. There are people who, so if they find out that you are reading or you are with books, they will kill you and they'll burn those books. So, but they were still rebels and all those things. I mean, it's an interesting story. I encourage everyone to read it or watch the movie. That was one good one.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna watch that. I sort of liked, the whole. Yeah.
It's something. It's not even long, so you would enjoy it. So, books. I didn't really read
the books like I
The
read.
Stranger, the one you sort of sent
Yeah,
to me.
yeah,
This
I
is
read
yeah.
it. I finished Stranger. It's a nice book. It's about a guy who went through life not really deeping everything. So he just lived life like, he didn't really care. The way the book started, my mother died today or maybe yesterday, I've forgotten. So it's giving a sense that this character was not someone who really cared much about a lot of things in life like that. He just lived his life day to day. When his lover, Marie, asked him, there was this girl he was in love with. There was this girl he was in love with. No, he didn't use the word love, but the way the story read, I would assume that he was in love with her, but he did not admit it. He never said it. When she asked him, do you love me and would you want to marry me? Asked him, do you want to marry me? He said, sure, we could do that. But when she asked him, do you love me? He said that it does not matter. It doesn't make any difference. So he's somebody that who did not deep life. He didn't really give a shit. So we saw that going and how it progressed in his life and how not giving a lot of fucks affected him or helped him and all those things. I think that was a good book. I really enjoyed that book too. Did I read any in this year? Nope. Which book did I read again? I forgot to know. I don't have a good memory for things I read, but I'll probably make a list in the description for anyone. I don't know. But I'm thinking of a good movie I watched that blew my mind away. But those movies were not a lot this year. But I've said the ones I saw. Do 2 movies here. I mean, those are good. So, which movies or books did you read? Or anything that blew your mind this year that you really enjoyed?
I mean, obviously, you know that I liked. I mean, even though I was sad, I enjoyed reading Looking for Alaska. That was amazing. Thanks to Kelvin. Kelvin sort of shared that book with me. And the other one I read that I enjoyed was The Secret Lives of Baba Shegi's Wives. Have you read that one, Kelvin?
No. Is it an old book?
Yeah, it is actually, but it's Nigerian. Ibadan, like it happened in Ibadan and everything. And I sort of liked it because it was Africa and it was Nigerian. I could relate to almost everything they were talking about. So that was a good read. As for movies, God, Kelvin, I saw lots of movies and I can't even. But I think the one I still have on my phone that I can't like really let go of. Let's see. I think it was this year I saw the Green Book. Yeah, I think it was this year I saw that one. Have you seen it? Green Book.
About this guy that is a musician that was going up and down singing.
Yeah. Oh yes. You've seen it. Or you just heard the story. Or
yeah,
something?
I've seen it fully.
Yeah, I liked that one. Yeah. I liked South Film. I saw a lot.
I just remember one movie I saw, Malcolm and Marie. People don't like it at all.
They said it was awful. I didn't watch it because of the remarks or the comments.
I liked it. Maybe am I in love with a toxic relationship? I don't know, but I really love the story. I mean, I love the way the story progressed and the monologues, the dialogues, the fights, the exchange of words. All those things, they seem so deep to me. It's a way it made me feel. So that's why I loved it.
Yeah, Kevin, I know you love love, but you're just like being strong. Well, let's just say. Yeah. So we have another question here, and we're exhausting the whole thing now. So I think they're like lighter questions as we go on. So this one is would you consider doing video podcasts in the future?
Probably, maybe, but I think the thing about
probably maybe. Wow, that's so unlikely going to happen.
Sorry, I don't. I say sorry. Forgive my bad English there, but I'm just like.
No, I'm just saying that it's unlikely happen because you're not even sure, and you're like not sure of not being sure. I don't even know.
Yeah, it's hard to edit. Even currently, as I'm doing audio podcasts, that's why I did not make a lot of podcasts this year. There's one thing to sit down and have these conversations, and you have to edit it. I mean, I can sometimes, since the podcasts are usually long, it's hard to edit. So it takes me like probably 2 hours focused time to edit. Which I'm a lazy person. It's easy to do, but I'm a lazy person. I try to do all that things because editing is not in my passion. Editing is not my passion. It's not one thing in my list of passions. So I like if I like something, I'll devote time to it like that. But I don't like to devote so
Wait,
much
so
time.
making a podcast might not be too, but it's the decent parts that, it's not like,
Yeah. Then you need gear.
Wow.
So you need gear, and I mean, I don't have money to buy a lot of big cameras. It's not as if I don't want to invest it in the podcast, because the podcast is not monetized like right now. So probably next year. I don't know. I've talked with like there's people that reached out. So I don't know. Probably next year each episode will be monetized. I don't know. The reason is because I said I don't want to do ads on this show, but I think it would be a good thing from next year. But let me see how it goes. Yep. I don't want to run ads because you don't even know the brand like that, and you have to like present them.
Yeah. So I'm still like thinking of probably maybe. So that means like I don't even know.
Yeah,
Come on.
It's not something on my radar. That's it. It's not something on my radar. It's just something that will come up when it's needed. It's not my radar.
Yeah, that's actually okay, I guess. Okay, so let's see. So so this one goes, I truly enjoyed your podcast with Mary. I'd love to hear your thoughts on what human would be like in the age of the metaverse. Whew. So
this person is asking about my last podcast.
Do you have a response for that? Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think I already commented about that on the podcast. I commented on that on the podcast now. Like, I mean, I don't know if it would be there. Like, to be something mad, but like on my baseline, if you want to know how the metaverse would be, to watch the Ready Player One movie. That's how I think it would be like, that we are living in a virtual world and all these things. I don't really know. I mean, right now we are still living in the virtual world. Look at all our interactions where we spend most of our time. They are on virtual spaces. Is it Twitter, Facebook, WhatsApp, Clubhouse, all these things that are like virtual spaces. So how much time do you spend on your own without media, without all these phones and all these things? You see that is a lot less. You see that we're already a lot inclined to digital spaces and all this. So it will just be an easy transition. It will just be on your face. You're wearing a VR headset on your. So I mean, it's just the same thing, I guess.
Yeah. So I don't even sort of know much about the metaverse. I'm not even going to comment on that, but I think it sounds interesting. To be fair,
you can watch the Ready Player One. I think it gives.
Well, I have seen that movie. I loved it a lot. Yeah,
so
I think it's similar to Free Guy. Have you seen Free Guy?
Free Guy.
Is it Free Guy or Guy? Free Guy, yeah. So Ryan Reynolds or whatever his name is. The guy that acted on what's that movie? He Never Dies. Deadpool, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So it's similar to Ready Player One. So, but okay. So, anyways, this is the last question, Kelvin, and I have my questions, to ask you too, actually. And we have to go back to the other one you skipped. I think I would not remember. So, so this last one is they said on one episode earlier this year, you talked about the objective truth. Would you rather hurt someone's feelings or be very truthful with them?
The thing is, we can approach truth in this way that I can tell you the truth in a way that I'm not sounding disrespectful. But I can't control how someone's feelings would, react to certain kind of information that you give to them. But if you tell someone the truth and you are passing it with love and let me remove the word love there. It's a nonsense word to use there. Maybe like with kindness and respect. Then, I mean, you don't need to be bothered. You tell people, okay, but the thing is just having the emotional intelligence on when to tell people certain truths and when not to tell it to them, and how you pass it across to them, something like that, I guess. So
Yeah.
my or that about your emotions. That's a big one because I mean, I don't control how you react to certain information. So I'm not, I don't think I'll be the right person to answer whether I'm hurting your emotions or not.
Yeah, Kelvin. So, I just something I've noticed is that no matter how you say it, sometimes people just don't want to hear the truth, or they don't want to hear what you have to say. So they want to hear what they want to hear. So
People want to hear what they want to hear. That's it. And people tend to feel like you are telling them the wrong thing when it's not what they want to hear. And what do I have to do about that?
So that I think that's clearly sad. I think, like I said, just telling people, what you should tell them, and then how they deal with this stuff, even as much as you sort of have sympathized, but always like be honest with people. And that's like how I want to live my life. I'm trying to do that. Even I get in trouble a lot, but I just do because
I uphold that stuff of radical truth. I like to be really truthful. Like radical truth. Radical truth means I'm being truthful to myself first, and I'm truthful to people. It means I'm not lying to myself, I'm not deceiving myself, and all those things.
Yeah, it's such a miserable way to live life, though. I just can't. I mean, I've never tried it before, and I hope I don't, because it sounds sad. So now that's all. Those are the questions that were sent to you by your listeners. Amazing, interesting stuff. I do have mine, and I want to ask you because I'm actually excited. They're actually very soft. Nothing really serious. So one is actually positive. The other one is, well, not so positive. So the first one, that I've, been meaning to, I think I should start with like the negative one because, like
anyone. There's no big deal. I mean,
yeah. So, I noticed, Kelvin, that it's in terms of things of the heart. Like, do you like, you see yourself like what happened, or you talked about your relationship and everything. So, and the question is, are you not going to try again because of that, or generally just like really tired of everything that has to do with love, like you talked about before?
Well, I think love is a good thing. It's a big part of my life. I mean, I'm talking about loving people. That's like platonically. All the sense. So, I mean, love is good, but like romance is not because I fear that somebody might break my heart or all these things. I mean, certain things I learned from kind of experiences I had with women this year. I hold on to those lessons I learned, but do I want to be invested again in a person? Because right now I want to pursue like my own career and do a lot of things for myself. I would involve me not having so much time to sit down and talk with the person, or wanting to be engaging with the person every day, or catering to a person's emotional needs and all those things. Do I want that right now? I had an epiphany and I felt like, I don't know. But the thing is, if people come towards me, I don't actively chase them away. But the thing is that I don't actually chase anything. I don't look for, there are people who say that they're looking for love and they're out there meeting people. I don't do all those things. Naturally, it's not something I do. Tell myself I'm looking for love or trying to meet people. No, I don't do that. If something good comes and it seems genuine, I would embrace it. But I would embrace it. That's what I'm saying. I would embrace it. But I'm not actively looking for anything.
But in the end, you're hopeful and we should be excited, and hopefully something, new comes out of 2022.
Yeah, sure.
That's like how, yeah. So the other sorry, you want to say something?
Yeah, I just found out that, like, I think for people who have been romantically involved with, in hindsight, I would think that, I don't think it would have worked out because sometimes certain people have found me intimidating. They see me as, bigger than them. And I don't like that. I don't like it when someone sees me as bigger than them or over them. Maybe probably because of my anything I have as a person or who I am as a person. I don't want anybody to see me as above them. That's something I fear that, certain people I've been with, they've seen
Is
me.
it not just people you're in like something with?
Romantically. I don't want people to see me as above, because then if they see me as above you, it tends to there's a certain way it makes me uncomfortable. I just want you to see me as like same. I don't know, just like a regular person
I think there are
who
things that you do that
and
sort
you
of
should not have
intimidates them.
so much high expectations of me as a person because you see me as in a certain way. So that it scares me, because when people start to put all these expectations on you because they see you in a certain way, I don't want that.
But again, do you think it's something that you do that sort of intimidates these people? It's just beyond, like it's out of your control.
I think it's like, well, okay. My friend told me I'm an intimidating person with the way I talk and who I am, like just who I am. That like this is what my friend told me, that like I sort of like assume control over conversations or things. Like though he said that I'm not doing it consciously, that this is just who I am, that I am into I am an intimidating person, but I don't see that in my, I don't know. Well, let me not say I don't see that in myself, because it's people that actually tell me, and now that they've told me, though this, I don't have enough data points for this. This is just one person who told me this. I don't know. I like, do I
Again, I'm actually going to say I'm hopeful for you, so because I want to see Kelvin in love. I'm just saying. Yeah. So the other question, and I'm obsessed with this question, and I hope that I've not asked you before, and it's actually something I find interesting, and people might think it's scary. To me, it's not, and I think you've actually said some things about that. So that's like why I know that you'll be comfortable with the question, hopefully. And if you're not, that's fine too. I always ask people, and I want to hear from you, Kelvin, exclusively. How would you love to leave this world when that happens? Because it's obviously inevitable. One day we'll all leave. So how do you want to go, Kelvin?
First of all, I want to have last words that are memorable to people. I want to die saying like probably meaningful things that people can say, oh, this were my last words. The last words of Kelvin was this, and probably nice to quote or something or like that. And I want to leave when, let me put it when, or you said how. How? I'm not giving him much yet, because even though I meditate about, I try to prepare myself that, okay, everything I'm doing is a sort of preparation. Like there's an article I wrote, I don't know. Everything I'm doing is a sort of preparation for when I'll die. So everything I write, everything I'm recording, all these podcasts that I'm making means that when I die, people can reference all the things I've written. People can reference all the things I've recorded. They can remember. These are bits of me that still live. So because I believe in eternal life, and since I can't have eternal life like I want to, means I can make myself immortal by making things, writing things, recording things that people would feel like I'm there with them. Just like when you are reading a book by a dead author, and you could feel like they were there with you. I wanted that too. So how would I really want to actually die? Is like when I've done all these things that I need to do. Of course, I will not do all of them before I want to die, because death comes like unexpectedly. So, I really wish that I've laid down all my ideas, laid down all my thoughts. I've recorded everything I want to record, written everything I want to write. Then I could probably maybe be sick, and I would not want anybody to waiting that I will recover if they see that the sickness is something that would eventually kill me. You don't need to waste so much money trying to give you like raise your hopes that I would recover. Just you can terminate my life like medically or something, I guess. But that's where I've really done all the things I want to do. Yeah. soft and easy. Soft and easy. As something like that. Not really, I don't want to be shouting help, help, help. Soft and easy, where I'm saying good things and I have quotable last words, something like that.
First of all, I want to thank you, Kelvin, for that response. And I've had a lot of, because I've been asking this question for a long time to just different people, and I really like your response. One of the best actually. And one thing I want to say about all of these things that we've done today is that whenever I ask these, questions, and the everyday questions that people ask people, I'm just like really blown away as to how you see things that are like very uncommon and unlikely. And that's like why it's sort of unique talking to you and hearing your thoughts. It's so unique, like very profound. So I want to say that I'm actually happy that I was able to do this with you. But we're still going to, Kelvin, before I keep, I haven't said all of these things, Kelvin. Tell me one thing that your listeners do not know about. We're not leaving here today until you told us one thing. Yeah. So.
Okay, I think I'm big on self-pleasure. I think people don't know that, but like I'm a big advocate for self-pleasure. I mean, it's kind of weird. Yeah, I am. I think that's a weird thing to say on the podcast, but
it's not weird. I love it. Oh my God.
So yeah, sure. I'm a big advocate for self-pleasure. So yeah, sure.
Yo, thank you for
apart from my friend circle.
Yeah, I hope, guys, what's a way to end the podcast? What's a way, Kevin? Oh wow. Okay, that was good. So I'm happy that you shared that. But I think we've actually gotten to the end of the session. So yeah, Kelvin, I hope I did not stop like that, please, because I enjoyed my time with you. So
yeah, this was really amazing. I mean, I talked a lot about things. This is like being interviewed on a show, and it was nice. I mean, I don't get to say a lot of my own things on the podcast. It's people that get to say lots. I just ask questions most times on my podcast. So sometimes that's why I like the AMAs, an opportunity for me to say my own stuff, which is probably not insightful, but something. Yeah. For next year, I really hope I write a lot too. A lot of things in my draft, that all these things I want to write, all these thoughts I have, I want to write them, but I don't feel confident. A lot of people tell me I'm a good writer, so I want to experiment with that next year and write a lot of essays, long form essays, short form essay, comment on things, and probably, I don't know, I just want to write. For next year, I guess. Or let me see how it goes.
Yeah, and I think you should. You really should. I've seen you like from, I think, WhatsApp status though, but they could be very lovely, and I think this was good. I had a good time. So
constantly have something to say, and sometimes I don't document them. So people who are my old friends that have known me since, when did I start using WhatsApp actively? It was probably when I was in my third year school. Was that third year? Yeah, probably the lower part of, like the later part of 2018. So I used to talk a lot. So, 2019, I shared a lot of thoughts, and some of those thoughts I never archived them to write about them later. And it's paining me because, WhatsApp stories is just like 24 hours. But I like to write based on impulse, based on how I'm feeling. If I don't have something to say, I would not write. I wish I archived all those thoughts. Or, I mean, magic could always come from where magic could come from. I believe that I would not have to force myself to write, because I did not force myself to write initially. So anytime I'm ready to bring out that magic again, I would do that. That's what I have to say about that.
Yeah, I know you're always gonna actually kill it. So that's but I hope that I also would love to anything you write, I hope you're going to share with me because
Yeah,
I'm,
sure, definitely.
yeah.
Also, is this podcast that I shared with you one time? It's just a podcast idea. I'm trying to currently work on it now and see if it will be out.
Oh, Kelvin, you
It will be like
scammed
an
me.
exclusive. So it will
You
be
scammed.
although I'm still, I've gone back to the drawing board to try to rewrite and reorder things. So you would actually be one of the first people to hear it when we start producing it. So
You better. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's enough of me. I wonder what you would be looking forward to next year.
Yeah. It's going to be, I mean, I keep saying it's going to be a lot, but sometimes I just, but I'm just going to have a good, that's a new chapter of my, it's scared, but yeah, as the time, goes by, we would actually see. I like living each day as it comes. I have plans though, but I'm just like this very spontaneous, person. And I know how to procrastinate, Kelvin. And I don't know if you've noticed, Kelvin.
I mean, I don't believe.
Okay, I'm not going to be pissed if you say that.
Should force yourself not to. I don't believe that you should. Don't force yourself not to procrastinate. Procrastination is a normal thing. I procrastinate a lot. So I mean, it's a normal thing. It's not something. You're just a human. So you just.
Anyways, Kelvin, I hope to have like amazing 2022. I mean, I hope it's this pandemic stuff. It just keeps coming like that. Hey, there's this new variant, and it's like I'm watching like a Marvel movie or something. It's crazy.
I mean, like all those things, same old from last year. But I just hope that we enjoy next year. I don't like to plan anything because I like adventures. Even though I live solitary, I like adventures. I like to see uncertainty. I like to see what would come out of anything. I just because sometimes I plan and then the wildest things come. So I mean, I'm excited to see what comes. I know that I might not be prepared, or I might be prepared for them, but I've survived 12 years, so I should probably try to survive next year.
Yeah, amen to that.
Yeah, I just hope I'm doing this again by this time next year. Down alive and recording a podcast, probably in a better place. Everybody, yep.
And please, Kelvin, try and have a Merry Christmas again. Make something, cook, Kelvin. Come on.
yeah. I should probably cook and buy wine. No, I don't. Okay, I'll just try because I don't want to get myself drunk and start dancing too much. I'll probably go for wine, non-alcoholic wine, and just chill in my apartment. I don't like hanging out with people because it will drain me. It means I'll have to talk a lot.
Yeah, it can be very exhausting. This is like a 2-hour episode. This is like a milestone or like that. Have you had longer episodes, Kelvin? I can't even be beside.
I think I've had. Let me see if this is 2 hours. Okay, this is 1 hour for 3 minutes. I've had a 2-hour episode before. It was with Busayo. And I was in Lagos.
Oh wow!
That was the first time I went to Lagos and we had a conversation. I was planning to travel to Lagos this year. I could still come to Lagos. I mean, just to have fun if I wanted to. But let's see how that goes. And it means after this podcast, it means I'll be seeing what Toberry looks like for the first time.
We're still there, of course. Yeah, I'm going to say in the morning. It has to be in the morning. But I would send something up.
Why in the morning? Okay, because you have to sort through and
no, I'm just like I have a chicken in front of me and I'm waiting to devour.
That's nice. Okay, cool. Sure, definitely.
Yeah, I'm gonna send one in the morning, Claire, obviously. Later today. But again, thank you for having me, Kelvin. For having me have you, I guess, if that's a thing.
Yes.
I had fun. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're welcome. It was nice. Thank you for agreeing to do it with me. It was really nice. I mean, was fun to do. I mean, sitting down having this conversation, I don't even feel tired at all because certain kind of conversations, I'll sit down and I feel tired just a few minutes into it. But this one just feels like it should keep going. I mean, that's like the thing about certain people and the kind of energy they bring in conversation. So it was really nice.
Yeah, thank you. Same here. Thank you. Yeah, I cannot wait to listen to this because I have to like even hear your responses again. They were really very, very bold. Thank you, Kelvin, for sharing.
For sure. Definitely. That's how to end the podcast.